Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're going to get into something really fascinating, a philosophical idea that might honestly change how you think about your feelings. We're going to explore the difference between what's called the domain of emotion and the domain of love.
So let's just kick things off with a huge question, right? Are emotion and love actually the same thing? I mean, we use those words pretty much interchangeably in everyday life, don't we? But what if there's a really profound difference between them? A difference that could define our entire state of being?
Okay, to really get to the bottom of this, we've got to start with two key concepts from the source material, Qing and I. Seriously, understanding this one distinction is the foundation for everything else we're about to cover. So first up, we have Qing. You can think of this as emotion or feeling. But the really crucial part here is that it's a psychological state. It's basically an emotional response. It's how you react to whatever's happening around you.
But then, on the other hand, you have I, which we translate as love. And this is totally different. This isn't a reaction at all. It's described as a state of consciousness. It's an expression that comes from your deepest, most fundamental nature, not just a quick response to something someone said or did.
So, we've got a psychological state versus a state of consciousness. What in the world does that actually mean in practice? All right, let's break down exactly how these two states of being are so different.
And here, this is where it all becomes super clear. Qing, our emotional response, is always changing, right? If you're nice to me, I develop a good feeling for you. If you make me angry, I feel resentment. It's fickle. But I, or love, is constant. The classic example given is a parent's love for their child. It just stays steady, no matter what the kid does. And while Qing comes in all these different flavors, I has only one true expression, pure joy.
And just look at how varied and volatile Qing can be. The source material points out 8 distinct forms, from joy and pleasure all the way to fear and grief. It's this whole spectrum of reactions, always moving, always depending on the world outside of us.
All right, so now that we've kind of got a handle on the difference between the feelings themselves, let's see how this builds into the main idea here, the idea of domains. This is all about the reach and the scope of both our emotions and our love.
So, what is a domain? Well, it's actually pretty simple. It's just the area that your emotion or your love touches. If you only have strong feelings for a very small circle of people, your domain is narrow. If you feel a real connection to many, many beings, your domain is broad. And believe it or not, this simple idea has some pretty cosmic implications.
And this is where the whole thing just gets so much bigger. The source uses this idea of domains to map out a kind of spiritual hierarchy. Let's call it a ladder of being, where your level of existence is literally defined by how wide your love can stretch.
So down at the first level, we have animals. Their domain of love is incredibly powerful, but it's also very narrow. A tiger or a bird will fiercely protect its babies, but that love doesn't really extend to another animal's babies. It's instinctual and it's limited.
Next up the ladder, that's us, humans. Now, our domain is definitely broader. We love our family, our friends, our nation, people connected to us by blood, by shared experiences, or mutual interests. But you have to admit, it's still conditional, isn't it? It's a love that often stops right at the border of us versus them.
As we keep climbing, we get to the level of immortals, or Shen, beings who have gone beyond the ordinary human condition. At this level, the domain of love just breaks free from those personal ties. It expands to cherish all of nature, the mountains, the rivers, the whole spiritual ecosystem.
And then, at the very top of the ladder, are Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. For them, the domain of love is infinite. It's a state of boundless compassion that just extends to every single living being, with no conditions, no exceptions, no end. So, wow, after climbing that incredible cosmic ladder, what's the big message here for us right now? Let's bring this all back down to earth with a really powerful, personal takeaway. This right here is pretty much the core idea of this whole philosophy. It's a direct link. Your level of consciousness, your state of being, is measured by how broad your love is. It's as simple and as profound as that.
So the really crucial point is that this isn't just some abstract philosophical thought experiment. It's a practical roadmap. The goal isn't to somehow get rid of our reactive emotions, our Qing. It's to consciously work on expanding our I, that fundamental state of unchanging love. And that's a huge shift in focus, right? It's about moving from just reacting to the world to actively radiating a constant state of being into the world.
And that leaves us with one final and very personal question to think about. When you really look at your own life, your connections, your feelings, how broad is your domain of love? It's definitely a question worth pondering. Thanks for joining me for this explainer.